everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me here today on the Creative Retreat YouTube channel. I'm here using the Clothed in Humility kit and some of the Faithfilled digitals. I'm going to use this stamp set as well. I've already cut out some of the pieces that I want to use, and I may use some more. So I'm putting us on fast forward here, and I am using my John scripture journal, the Gospel of John. I'm here in John 13, and I'm highlighting my verses. This is the chapter where Jesus washes the disciples' feet. And what I've highlighted is at the beginning, now before the feast of Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart out of the world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. So I want to focus on that part about the love. And then on screen, I'll finish reading the passage in a moment. On screen here, I'm putting some edging around my page, and I'm using the quiet yellow chalk ink pad, which is an older ink pad from Creative Retreat, but the Harvest Gold would work fine too. And I'm just lightly blending that with a blending brush. I also highlighted in verse 4 where it says, he laid aside his outer garments and taking a towel, tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with a towel that was wrapped around him. And then skip to verse 12. When he had washed their feet and put on his outer garments and resumed his place, he said to them, do you understand what I've done to you? Then in verse 14 it says, if I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example, that you also should do just as I have done to you. So the story here, this is the Passover meal. And in the book of John, the writer John does not talk about necessarily the Passover meal. Instead, he focuses here on this act of service, this act of love and service that Jesus offers to his disciples. Instead of talking about the Passover meal and the communion, which the other three Gospels talk about, this passage and John talks about washing the feet of the disciples. This was reserved for, one, either a servant, or two, a host or the wife of the host could do it to show extreme love and that the guest was honored. So Jesus, the Son of God here, is humbling himself to wash the disciples' feet. And he did it out of love. He served his disciples. So my title here is going to say, serve others with love and humility. This ceremony of washing the disciples' feet, washing the feet of others, is often called the Ordinance of Humility. It's something that God has told us to do as an example, to follow his example. And that's what ordinance means, the Ordinance of Humility. So we are to humble ourselves and serve others with love. So I'm using some of the Faithfilled digitals here and the stickers from the decor sticker sheet, both the physical kit and the digitals. And first off, I'm using this journaling card, which I thought just made a very simple frame for my title. Lots of times when you have a big page like this, it helps to have something to anchor your pieces on, like a journaling card or some outline, something like that. So I'm using some of the wonky hearts right here. I've alternated between the burgundy, that plum color, and then that peachy color. And I want to use this strip of faux washi as well as the peachy one that I used earlier. So I'm just trimming it down to fit within that same range to make it the same size as the journaling card. This stamp from the stamp set that says humility, I'm going to stamp that onto my tab to go up at the top, and I'm going to use this in a few moments too. Then I just used my Versafine black onyx ink, which is my regular pigment ink, my go-to ink, And in a few minutes, I'm going to stamp using some StazOn Archival ink. It's a multi-surface ink. I'm using my tape runner adhesive to adhere all my pieces down. I've printed these on paper instead of cardstock, and that doesn't add a lot of bulk. Let's see here. I do like using my scripture journal because it has a page. You can see a page, a blank page for every other page. And so this is only the book of John in this scripture journal. You can get every book of the Bible, I believe, certainly all the New Testaments. And I think you can get the Old Testament as well. So, or you can get them individually. I do have it linked in the description box as well as all of my products. So I'm making a little cluster of up top for my tab. And I wrote my text on the one label. And then this banner, this seal that says love. So my tag is going to say humility and love. Now, what was so powerful about this text is Jesus serving. And as we've been talking about in this kit, the garments, the clothes of humility, being clothed in humility. In this passage, Jesus takes off his outer garment and he's left with his inner self, his inner garment. Now, Jesus's outer and inner garment are the same, but for us, that outer shell, that outer outfit, often we don't reveal very often. We don't make ourselves vulnerable. But Jesus is humbling himself. That's that act of taking off that outer garment. And he was left with that humility. And he takes that towel of humility, which he placed in his lap, and he used that to clean the disciples' feet and dry their feet. That inner garment and that towel represent the humility, the love and humility that we need to serve each other with. So here, because I want to use that idea of that towel and that garment of humility, I'm taking one of these, it's like a cotton muslin bag, and I get just different companies will send me products in these kinds of things. So I am cutting this down and I'm going to make a ribbon and a tag out of it. And I'm using some StazOn ink. This is a multi-surface ink, and I'm stamping the word humility. This works great on both non-porous surfaces like transparencies and those sticker sheets, but it also works here on fabric. So I'm making it double-sided, stamping the word humility on both sides. And I'm going to use this for my ribbon. And I'm also going to cut that off and use that on my page. Now, this ink will stain your stamp, which is not a problem, but you can use the stamp cleaner to get that off, and I have that linked. So I'm cutting off one of the words, humility, and I'm making a tag out of this just by making kind of a slip knot. And I do end up switching to a smaller paper clip. I use kind of that peachy coral color, and I got those, I think, at Target. I think that's where I got that set. Now, I could have left it the way it was, but I decided I wanted to, because what it did say is serve others with humble love, but I wanted to use that little piece of fabric, that linen that says humility. So I'm changing this up a bit, and I'm just using the word love. I took off the sticker that said humble, and now I'm going to get one of the stickers from the alphabet stickers that says and, the ampersand, and I'm going to use that. So now it says serve others with love and humility, and I'm going to use this fabric tag right there. So I really like the representation that this cloth, this fabric has to represent the humility. That Jesus did not, even though he was the Son of God, he did not think himself above serving us. And so my journaling, and I'll do that off screen, says, Jesus, you are the perfect example of love and humility. Although you were the Son of God, you loved us so much that you humbled yourself at the basin. That was the bowl that he washed their feet with. You humbled yourself at the basin and the cross. So I've used some clear sticker sheet. I just trimmed a little piece. That's what I'm doing right here. And I'm going to reinforce the top of my page up there where I'm putting my tab, that paper clip, on both the front and the back. I like to have a piece of the clear sticker sheet nearby so I can always trim it for little pieces like that. So now I've done my journaling, and I'm putting another ampersand up there at the top for my tab. So it says humility and love. And I'm going to outline my page. I'm just doing the outer edges. So the way I like to do it, sometimes I do it differently, but the way I like to do it is to make a straight line first with the ruler and then come in and just do a freehand line. And that gives it a double look, but it makes it not so clean, just a little bit messy and organic. And I'm outlining the journaling card too. And I'm going to underline my words over on the opposite page in the text. I did use my mild liner highlighter from Zebra. I have a set of 20, one of my favorite Bible study tools. And there we go. That's it for my page. It was a pretty simple page, pretty simple process, but I really like how it turned out. I especially love that ribbon with the humility and that fabric tag that I made. So if you have any questions or comments, then leave them in the comment section. Again, I have all the products linked in the description box. And if you enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much. God bless. Bye-bye.